Good evening, everyone. I want you to take a deep breath and let this sink in. Life is full of choices. Every day, we wake up with dreams, desires, and plans. But sometimes, just sometimes, we find ourselves running after the wrong things, the wrong people, the wrong paths. And it can leave us feeling tired, empty, and wondering, am I even heading in the right direction? But here's the beautiful part: God is never too busy to notice. He sees every step you take, every decision you make. And if you are unknowingly chasing what isn't meant for you, if your heart is pulling you toward the wrong door, He can redirect you. He can guide you to the path that leads to fulfillment, purpose, and joy beyond your imagination. So tonight, let's open our hearts and say, Dear God, if I am chasing the wrong things, the wrong people, the wrong path, please redirect me. And get ready, because when He redirects you, miracles begin to unfold. We all start our journeys with a vision, with dreams that light up our hearts and give us purpose. We imagine the life we want, the people we hope to surround ourselves with, the opportunities we long to seize, and the accomplishments that will make us proud. Yet as we move forward, there are times when we begin to notice a sense of unease, a feeling deep inside that maybe, just maybe, we are chasing the wrong things. It's not always easy to admit this because we want to believe in our plans, in the paths we have chosen, in the relationships we have invested so much energy in. But life has a way of teaching us that what we pursue is not always what we truly need. And that realization can be both humbling and freeing. You see, chasing the wrong things often looks good on the outside. It might be a career that everyone else admires, a lifestyle that seems glamorous, or relationships that appear fulfilling to the world. On the surface, it all seems perfect. But deep inside, your soul knows the truth. Your heart whispers that something isn't right, that the energy you are putting forth is not leading to peace, joy, or fulfillment. Sometimes we are so focused on achieving, on obtaining, on being recognized, that we fail to notice whether the path we are on aligns with the purpose God has designed for us. We chase approval, we chase validation, and we chase success defined by someone else's standards, not our own. And when we are doing this, the risk is high that we are running toward emptiness instead of abundance. That's why it is so important to stop, to pause, and to take a good, honest look at our lives. Ask yourself, are the things I am pursuing lifting me up, or are they weighing me down? Are the people I am surrounding myself with encouraging growth, or are they leading me into compromise, distraction, or negativity? Are the decisions I am making today going to bring me closer to the life God has planned for me? Or are they taking me further away from it? Recognizing that we might be chasing the wrong things is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of awareness and spiritual maturity. It is an opportunity to recalibrate, to realign with what truly matters, and to open ourselves to the divine guidance that is always available. God has a way of gently nudging us, of placing signs along our paths, of sending people in situations that help us see when we are off course. Sometimes those signs are subtle, a quiet unease, a restless feeling, or a series of coincidences that seem too aligned to ignore. Other times they are more pronounced, doors closing unexpectedly, relationships breaking down, or opportunities falling through in ways that are confusing at first. But if we learn to listen, if we learn to trust, we will begin to understand that every redirect, every pause, and every challenge is designed to lead us closer to our intended destination. Letting go of the wrong things is never easy because our human nature is attached. And we are often reluctant to release what we have invested so much in. But when we surrender our pursuits to God, when we humbly ask Him to reveal the paths that are meant for us, we open ourselves to a life of greater clarity, purpose, and peace. The process requires patience, courage, and faith. It requires believing that God sees the bigger picture, that He knows the end from the beginning, and that His plan is always better than ours. It requires trusting that letting go of the wrong things is not a loss, but a gain. Because in their place, God will lead us to the right opportunities, the right people, and the right direction. This awareness is liberating. It allows us to stop exhausting ourselves, chasing what was never meant for us, and to start investing in what will truly nurture our spirits. And when we begin to understand this, we begin to experience a sense of peace that surpasses understanding, a joy that cannot be shaken, and a confidence that no matter what, we are exactly where we are supposed to be as we take the next steps guided by divine wisdom. Trust is one of those things that seems simple to understand, yet it is one of the most challenging practices in our daily lives. We hear people say, just trust God, and it sounds easy, but when we are faced with uncertainty, when doors close unexpectedly, when relationships fall apart, or when plans don't unfold as we imagine, trusting becomes a test of our faith. God's timing is perfect, even when it doesn't match ours. His guidance is always true, even when the path is unclear. There are moments when we feel frustrated, impatient, or even doubtful, and that's perfectly human. The key is learning to recognize that God's plan is unfolding in ways we cannot yet see. Trusting in Him doesn't mean we sit passively by and do nothing. It means that in every action we take, in every decision we make, we remain aligned with His wisdom, confident that He knows what we need long before we do. Sometimes we want life to move at our pace, to give us instant results, instant clarity, instant fulfillment. But God's timing is not about speed, it is about preparation. It is about molding our character, building our resilience, and positioning us for blessings that we could never achieve on our own. When we trust God, we acknowledge that even if we cannot see the entire map, we know the map exists, and we know that we are being guided to the destination that is best for us. It's about believing that every closed door, every delay, and every detour is not a punishment or a mistake, but a redirection designed with infinite wisdom. There is incredible peace in knowing that you are not navigating life alone, that you do not have to figure out every detail, and that the Creator of the universe is watching over every step you take. Trust allows us to release the heavy burden of worry, fear, and doubt. When we cling to our own understanding, when we try to control every outcome, we exhaust ourselves and limit the abundance that God wants to pour into our lives. But when we surrender fully, when we place our plans, our dreams, and even our fears in His hands, we create space for miracles to occur. Trust is also about perspective. It is about seeing beyond the immediate challenges and believing in the unseen opportunities that lie ahead. Many of us have had moments when a setback felt like a failure, when a closed door felt like rejection, or when a delay felt like disappointment. But looking back, we often realize that those very moments were the stepping stones to the greatest blessings of our lives. They prepared us, strengthened us, and guided us to paths we never could have imagined. The Bible tells us to lean not on our own understanding, and that is not just a phrase, it is a principle of life. Our understanding is limited, shaped by our experiences, fears, and desires. God's understanding is limitless, encompassing all possibilities, all timing, and all outcome. When we embrace that truth, we begin to see life through a lens of hope, patience, and unwavering confidence. Trusting God also encourages us to listen for His voice, to be still and pay attention to the quiet whispers that guide us. Sometimes the loudest messages in life come not through grand events or dramatic interventions, but through subtle nudges, moments of intuition, and feelings of peace that direct us toward the right choice. It requires a sensitivity to His guidance and a willingness to act even when it doesn't make sense from a human perspective. And trust is not passive. It is active faith. It is the courage to move forward despite uncertainty, the perseverance to keep pressing when the road is long, and the patience to wait for what is coming without settling for less than what God has promised. Every step we take in trust is a declaration that we believe God is in control, that we believe He is good, and that we believe His plan for our lives is greater than anything we could orchestrate on our own. Trust transforms our hearts, strengthens our resolve, and opens doors that could never be opened by human effort alone. It is the foundation for miracles, for breakthroughs, and for a life that overflows with purpose, joy, and fulfillment. Letting go is one of the most difficult challenges we face in life, yet it is also one of the most powerful acts of faith and courage we can practice. We hold on to things, people, and paths for many reasons. Sometimes it is because of fear of the unknown, fear of losing what we have, fear that we won't find something better. Other times we hold on because of habit or comfort, because what we know feels safe, even if it is no longer serving our highest good. But the truth is, holding on to the wrong things can block the blessings that God has prepared for us. It can weigh down our hearts, cloud our judgment, and drain our energy. Every moment we cling to something that is not aligned with our purpose is a moment we are not fully available to receive the abundance and opportunities that are waiting for us. Letting go requires humility because it means admitting that we cannot control everything, that we don't have all the answers, and that some of the plans we cherished were not meant for us. It requires courage because it means stepping into uncertainty, trusting that God's plan is better than our own, and believing that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right paths are ahead. We often think that letting go is about loss, but in reality, it is about freedom. It is about making space for the new, for the better, for the things that will bring true joy, peace, and fulfillment. When we release the wrong people, we open our lives to relationships that nurture, inspire, and support us. When we release the wrong habits, we create room for growth, productivity, and success. When we release the wrong paths, we step onto the road that God has designed specifically for us, a road that aligns with our purpose and potential. Letting go is also an act of faith. It is a declaration that we trust God to lead us, to protect us, and to provide what we truly need at the right time. It is saying, I may not see the full picture, but I believe that you do. I may not understand this moment, but I trust that you are guiding me. And when we act in faith, when we release what is not ours to hold, we begin to notice a shift in our lives. The weight lifts from our shoulders, clarity comes to our minds, and doors we didn't even know existed begin to open. The universe responds to courage, and God honors the heart that is willing to step away from what no longer serves it. It is important to remember that letting go does not mean forgetting or disregarding the lessons we have learned. Every wrong choice, every failed relationship, every detour has taught us something valuable. These experiences have shaped our character, strengthened our resilience, and prepared us for the opportunities that lie ahead. Letting go means taking those lessons, honoring them, and moving forward with wisdom and grace. We must also be patient with ourselves in this process. Sometimes letting go is not instantaneous. It may take time to release old patterns, to forgive, to heal, and to fully step into what God has for us. But each small act of release, each decision to trust, each step away from the wrong, brings us closer to the life we were meant to live. The act of letting go is a spiritual practice. It connects us with God, reminding us that we are not in control, but He is. It allows us to experience the peace that comes from surrender, the confidence that comes from faith, and the joy that comes from alignment with our true purpose. When we finally release what is wrong, we make space for miracles, for divine appointments, and for blessings that are far greater than anything we could have imagined. Letting go is not weakness, it is strength. It is not giving up, it is stepping up into the fullness of yet we still feel uncertain. We may wonder if the path we are on is truly meant for us, if the people we are investing in are guiding us in the right direction, or if the goals we are pursuing align with the purpose God has designed for our lives. This is why it is so essential to pause and intentionally seek God's guidance. When we pray for clarity, we open our hearts and minds to His wisdom. We acknowledge that our own understanding is limited, that our perspective is finite, and that only He sees the bigger picture of our lives. Asking for divine redirection is an act of humility because it admits that we do not have all the answers, that our plans may be incomplete, and that the road we are walking may not be the one intended for us. It requires a surrender of control, a willingness to step back, and a trust that God's vision is far greater than our own. Often we want answers instantly. We want to know which decision is the right one, which relationship is meant to last, or which opportunity will truly bring success. But God's guidance is precise, and He delivers it in ways that are designed to align with the timing of our lives. Sometimes clarity comes as a quiet inner knowing, a sense of peace about a particular decision or direction. Other times it comes through circumstances, through doors that open and close, or through the counsel of wise and trusted mentors. Asking for divine redirection is not passive. It requires action and attentiveness. It requires that we listen carefully, observe diligently, and act in accordance with the signs and nudges God places before us. When we actively seek His guidance, we become more sensitive to the subtle ways in which He leads us. And we begin to recognize that even challenges and setbacks are opportunities to be guided closer to our purpose. Clarity from God is more than just knowing what to do. It is a deep sense of alignment and peace. It is a feeling that even when the path is difficult, even when obstacles appear, we are moving in the right direction. It allows us to make decisions confidently, to take risks without fear, and to trust that every step we take is part of a plan designed specifically for us. Divine redirection often comes when we are willing to let go of what no longer serves us. Sometimes the very things we are holding on to, relationships, jobs, habits, or dreams, are preventing us from walking the path God has prepared. By seeking His guidance, we allow ourselves to be led away from what is wrong and toward what is right. The process requires faith, patience, and perseverance. It may not be immediate and the signs may not always be obvious, but if we remain steadfast in our prayer and in our willingness to follow, we will find that God's direction brings unexpected blessings and opportunities that surpass anything we could have imagined. Asking God for clarity also transforms our hearts. It shifts our focus from fear, doubt, and frustration to hope, peace, and trust. It reminds us that we are not alone, that there is a loving Creator who cares deeply about every detail of our lives, and that our happiness, purpose, and fulfillment matter to Him. When we approach Him with sincere hearts, ready to be redirected, He opens doors that were previously invisible. He removes obstacles that we could not overcome on our own. And He brings people and experiences into our lives that align with our destiny. Seeking divine redirection is a daily practice. It is not a one-time prayer, but a continual conversation with God. Each morning, each decision, and each challenge is an opportunity to pause, seek His guidance, and trust in His perfect plan. As we cultivate this habit, we develop discernment, clarity, and the ability to navigate life with confidence, knowing that we are walking in the direction God intended, and that every step is leading us closer to the life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment that He has designed for us. Patience is one of the most powerful tools we can develop as we walk through life and seek the path God has for us. In a world that moves so quickly, where instant gratification is expected and immediate results are celebrated, waiting can feel frustrating, even unbearable at times. We see people around us achieving success, building relationships, and reaching milestones, and we wonder why our own dreams and plans are not unfolding as quickly. But patience is not about sitting idly by. It is about trusting that God's timing is perfect and that everything is unfolding according to His divine plan. When we cultivate patience, we are training our hearts to trust, our minds to remain calm, and our spirits to stay focused on what truly matters. Patience allows us to resist the temptation to rush, to force outcomes, or to settle for less than what God has promised us. It teaches us to wait with hope, confidence, and faith, believing that the delays we encounter are not denials, but opportunities to prepare us for something far greater than we could have imagined. Life often places us in situations that test our patience. Doors may remain closed longer than we want. Relationships may take time to strengthen, or opportunities may seem to be delayed endlessly. Yet these moments are not coincidences or punishments. They are part of the process of growth, refinement, and preparation. Each moment of waiting develops character, resilience, and understanding. Each pause in our journey gives us the chance to align more fully with God's will and to ensure that when the time comes, we are ready to step, to respect the pace of divine orchestration, and to move forward only when the moment is truly right. It is during these periods of waiting that we can grow in wisdom, develop our skills, and deepen our understanding of ourselves and our purpose. Patience gives us the clarity to see what is truly important, the discernment to recognize the right choices, and the strength to persevere through challenges without losing hope or faith. It is also a tool that protects our peace. When we become impatient, we invite frustration, disappointment, and stress into our lives. We start to act impulsively, make decisions based on fear or pressure, and lose sight of the blessings that are quietly unfolding behind the scenes. Patience, on the other hand, allows us to remain centered, calm, and focused, knowing that God's plan is always moving forward, even when we cannot yet see the results. Cultivating patience is an ongoing process. It requires practice, intentionality, and faith. Each time we choose to wait rather than force, to trust rather than worry, and to remain positive rather than discouraged, we strengthen our capacity to navigate life with grace and confidence. It is a daily discipline that shapes our character and aligns our hearts with the divine timing of God. Patience transforms the way we approach challenges, relationships, and opportunities. It turns waiting into a period of growth, preparation, and anticipation. It helps us to recognize that nothing worth having comes without the right timing, and that the best things in life are often the result of perseverance, faith, and trust. When we embrace patience, we position ourselves to receive the fullness of God's blessings in the most perfect way, ensuring that when doors open, we step through them with readiness, confidence, and gratitude. Stepping boldly into the path God is leading us toward requires courage, faith, and a willingness to trust, even when the way is not fully clear. Many of us are comfortable staying where we are, holding on to the familiar and avoiding risk. It is human nature to resist change, to cling to what we know, and to shy away from uncertainty. Yet God calls us to step forward, to embrace the opportunities He places before us, and to walk confidently into the future He has prepared. Boldness is not recklessness, it is confidence rooted in faith. It is understanding that God has equipped us with everything we need to succeed, to overcome obstacles, and to fulfill the purpose He has designed for our lives. When we step boldly, we are saying to God and to ourselves that we believe His plan is greater than our fears, that we trust His timing, and that we are ready to walk in alignment with our destiny. Fear is often the biggest obstacle to stepping into the path God has for us. It whispers doubts into our minds, makes us question our abilities, and tempts us to retreat into safety. But faith is stronger than fear. Faith reminds us that God is with us, that He is guiding every step, and that the journey, though uncertain, is filled with promise and divine favor. Boldness begins with a decision, a commitment to move forward, even when the outcome is not yet visible. It requires us to trust our intuition, our prayers, and the signs God places along our path. Every step we take in courage strengthens our faith, builds our confidence, and expands the possibilities in front of us. Sometimes stepping boldly means leaving behind what is familiar, comfortable, or even safe. It may require ending relationships that are no longer supportive, letting go of dreams that are misaligned with our purpose, or stepping out of environments that limit our growth. Though difficult, these choices create space for the right opportunities, the right people, and the right circumstances to enter our lives. Boldness also requires perseverance. The path God leads us on is not always easy. There will be obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But when we remain steadfast, continue to trust, and keep moving forward with courage, we discover that every challenge is a stepping stone to greater blessings. Each difficulty strengthens our character, refines our faith, and prepares us for the victories that lie ahead. Walking boldly is not just about personal success, it is also about being a beacon for others. When we take courageous steps in faith, we inspire those around us to trust, to dream bigger, and to pursue their own divine paths. Our boldness can create ripples of hope, encouragement, and transformation that extend far beyond ourselves. Confidence is a key element of boldness. We must believe in our own potential, in the abilities God has placed within us, and in the purpose He has designed. Doubt weakens our steps, hesitation delays progress, and fear blocks the blessings that are waiting for us. But when we step forward with confidence, we align ourselves with God's will, attract opportunities, and move closer to the life He intended. Boldness also requires action. Prayers, reflection, and planning are vital, but they must be accompanied by decisive steps. God often works through our willingness to act, using our efforts to bring His plan to fruition. Every small step, every decision made in faith, every moment we choose courage over fear brings us closer to the fullness of life He desires for us. Embracing the path God has set before us transforms our perspective. It shifts our focus from what is missing, uncertain, or challenging to what is possible, promising, and divinely orchestrated. It reminds us that we are not alone, that we are guided by infinite wisdom, and that every step forward is a step toward the destiny that awaits us. Walking boldly requires trust, patience, and perseverance, but it also brings freedom, fulfillment, and joy. It allows us to live without regret, to embrace the opportunities that matter, and to experience the abundant life that God has promised. When we step boldly, we are not just moving forward, we are moving with purpose, faith, and alignment with a divine plan that is uniquely ours.